going on, guys? The Eagles' schedule is out. How many wins for the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles? We are breaking it down, making our way too early picks, talking everything you need to know about the Eagles' schedule. Joining us, David at PHL Eagle News. What's up, David?
What's going on, guys? Looking forward to getting into the schedule. I think it's everyone's favorite day to start planning their vacation. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Ryan will be joining us shortly, but special guest, my man from Party on Broad, Rob Lange at Philly_Madness. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? Appreciate you having me on here. Always exciting to talk about the schedule. Man, you know, when you win, it becomes a gauntlet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, looking at it way too early, you don't know what teams are going to be, but not too many cakewalks on this one this year.
For sure. It's going to be a wild season. I think they're the fourth most difficult schedule out of the NFL. Ryan, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you.
Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What's up, Ryan?
Hello. How are you?
I'm really excited. Ryan picked the Eagles to go 17-0.
Yeah, this is our annual show where Ryan and David pick perfect seasons for the Eagles. All right, let's jump right into this thing. I have the schedule here somewhere. There it is. There's the Eagles' schedule. No back-to-back home games. You have two sets of back-to-back road games between weeks 6 and 7 and weeks 6 and 17. You have a Commanders and Giants series that are spanning across 3-week spans. You have another Tampa game where you're dealing with extreme heat again in week 4. And then you also have a game in Buffalo in week 17, dealing with extreme cold. You've got, which kind of makes me upset. We'll get into it, but like that could be a joke of a game with teams resting starters by then. 35% of the games are not on Sunday. As a 4-year-old, that is extremely disappointing. You have an NFC Championship rematch at the Link, potentially in the final week of the season. I don't like that. But it's also a home game, week 18, which is ideal heading into the playoffs. The Eagles will face one team coming off their bye week. That's the Vikings, and 4 of the first 5 opponents won 10 or more games in 2024, with the Rams and the Chiefs trying to stick it to the Birds this season. I'll throw it to you, Rob. Just quick reaction with the schedule.
One of the first things I noticed was I feel like the Eagles finally have a bye week that makes sense. It's not just like 3 weeks of the season, like middle of the season bye week 9. I'll take it. You know, like I said, look, it's a gauntlet schedule, but when you're the best, you're going to have to play these schedules, and that's fine. And, you know, you never know what teams are going to be one year to the next. Like we look at it today, who says that the Chicago Bears don't have 2 wins come Black Friday and are just limping through the season? You know, you just don't know how things are going to span, but it should be fun. I like that they're a national TV game now. Like, you know, people want to see the Philadelphia Eagles play. I think it's awkward for us. I don't think we're used to this. But and as we said on Monday on Party on Broad, the fact that Jara and all the Cowboys have to watch as we unveil the banner in week 1 is just, after all the years of hearing, where's your rings? Now you have to actually sit there and watch us unveil another banner. While you've only won 4 games in the last 30 years in the playoffs, we won 4 in a month this year to win the Super Bowl. So enjoy that, Dallas.
David, any quick reaction before we get into this thing week to week?
Just how much the league wants to focus on the Eagles and showcase them with potentially 6 primetime games, assuming that Saturday game against the Commanders week 16 is, you know, in the evening. 6 primetime games is crazy. I can remember when we'd get one back in the 90s, and it was normally some garbage Monday night game nobody really cared much about. So it's pretty impressive. A lot of people like to talk a lot of trash about Jalen Hurts, but the league is heavily invested in showcasing him, obviously.
Love it. Ryan?
I couldn't be more on the opposite of you, John. There's not a lot of 1 p.m. games for my liking. As a fan and as somebody who's there at every Eagles game, I love me some 1 o'clock Sundays. The Mondays, the Thursdays of the world, those are the worst. But I digress. I don't think it's that bad, honestly. I mean, what are we scared of here, right? I mean, the Buffalo game and that Washington game at the end of the season, ain't nobody playing in that one.
No.
Your love affair of Tanner McKee can continue once again in those games for all I care. Yeah, listen, I'm not. There's nothing about this schedule that has me scared. So I'm happy with it. I just want more 1:00 Sundays.
Amen. Amen. Especially for all of us doing post games and half times. 1:00's just so much easier. Everything flows better.
I take more time off from work for Eagles games than I do anything else.
My freedom is the later times when it comes to the kids. So I'll
Sure.
take the 4:00s. I'll take the night games where I know I
Never.
can just focus in on that and do some post games and not have to deal with kids running around bothering me as I try and watch the games. And I like to be able to take that 1:00 slate on my 3 TVs and not have to care then and just wait to care till 4:25.
Nice. All right, let's roll into this thing. Week 1, Dallas Cowboys. They split the season series the previous 2 years, but the Eagles swept the Cowboys in 2024, taking them down in Week 10, 34-6 in Dallas. In the second one, 41-7. That was their final Kelly Green game of the season. Kenny Pickett, Ryan's favorite quarterback, taking over for the injured Jalen Hurts. The Cowboys finished 7 of 10, 7-10 in 2024, 3-3 in the division. The Cowboys recently acquired George Pickens in a trade. All eyes on Brian Schottenheimer as head coach. Jalen Carter versus Tyler Booker will be must-see TV as one of the underrated storylines this season. You've got the Parsons contract up in the air. They added Donovan Ezeraku. Ryan, lead us off. Win or loss, Week 1.
Come on, next. Come on, look seriously. The Cowboys, I'm glad, as much as I would have liked a better matchup, I'm glad we're starting off with a nice, easy win. We can warm up. I'm not necessarily saying overlook. You never overlook, but seriously, the roster versus roster, there's no question that the Eagles are a better team. That crowd is going to be absolutely electric, raising that banner. I cannot wait to be in that building to see that. And I'm gonna bring some binoculars so I can look at Jerry's beady little eyes as he watches it the whole time.
David.
Yeah, it's a W. The Eagles outscored them 75-13 last year. Dallas did have a good offseason. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but they did. They kind of botched the first pick in the draft, and then they kind of nailed the rest of it, in my opinion. But they've had a good offseason. I'm looking forward to seeing Quinyon versus George Pickens. I think that'll be a matchup that we'll get to see a lot of. But, yeah, I think this is a W.
Rob.
Yeah, Brian Schottenheimer, first game as a head coach. As Ryan said, that stadium's going to be rocking. Ryan, if you have an extra ticket, I'll go. Looking to be in the stadium that night. I think the Eagles win the game. Although if you've paid attention to that NFL season kickoff opener, those games tend to be a little closer than you expect. But I do expect the Eagles to win the game.
Yeah, W's all the way around. Super Bowl celebration. South Philly will be rocking, absolutely. Keep an eye on Turpin, a kick returner for the Cowboys. He had a pretty good year last year. Could be a breakout guy for the Cowboys. But, yeah, watching Dak react to all of our celebrating will be awesome. Give me a W. Let's roll on to the Eagles taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 2. God, again, I tweeted that, but we're not sleeping at all these first 2 weeks of the season. Second consecutive regular season meeting between these teams coming off a Super Bowl rematch. Eagles obviously smoked the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs have had kind of a busy offseason. They traded Joe Thuney. They're hoping Kingsley Suamataia will fill in at guard better than he did at tackle. They kind of filled in their offensive line with Jalen Moore. little bit of an overpay, but they also traded with the Birds in the first round, landing Josh Simmons. Hopefully his knee was ready to go. They also strengthened their D-line. Defensive tackle Omar Norman Lott. Ashton, I think it's Gillette. I'm not sure. To kind of rotate next to Chris Jones. Keep an eye on Xavier Worthy, who could also be a breakout star this year. Throw to you, Rob. Win or loss, Eagles versus Chiefs.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. You come off the game against the Cowboys. Yeah, you have a little bit of extra rest, obviously, but you're going into Kansas City. People that don't believe that game's going to mean a little bit more to Kansas City are crazy. It is going to mean a little bit more to Kansas City. They're going to want to prove that, even if the Eagles are a better football team, they're not 30 points better than them. I will give the Eagles a loss here in week 2. However, the last time the Eagles lost an early season game at Kansas City was 2017. They went on to win the Super Bowl that year.
David.
Yeah, I remember when the Eagles were the team that was always hunting and not the hunted, and they were always pissed off trying to avenge some sort of loss. And most of the time it never mattered, especially in the 90s and stuff. Dallas would just keep kicking the hell out of them. And that's what's going to happen here. 7 months isn't enough time to overcome a 34-0 ass whooping in the Super Bowl. Chiefs don't have a chance in this one either. The Eagles are the better team, and they'll prove it again.
All right. W for David. What about you, Ryan?
Damn it, David, I freaking love you, dude. I couldn't have said it any better. Give me a dub. We broke the Chiefs. They are broken. Taylor Swift can't save this franchise. Dub. Let's go.
All right. I'm trying to look at like the Eagles record within the first 3 games of the last 5 years. 0-2 in 2020, 1-2 in 2021, then 3-0 2022, 3-0 2023, 2-1 2024. I'm with you guys. A lot of people are picking the Chiefs, but I'm with Ryan, double downing on the Eagles breaking the Chiefs. This defense is going to be going after hunting Patrick Mahomes. Give me the W here for the Birds. Heading into week 3 against the Rams. Let me get the graphic up. There it is. Week 3 against the Rams. The Eagles, will just crush them on that snow game, especially Saquon Barkley and his 205 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. The Rams went 10-7. They were the NFC's number 4 seed. They retained Matthew Stafford. Didn't have the best year last year. They swapped Devontae Adams for Cooper Kupp. They added Poona Ford to improve their D-line, which was pretty solid, I thought. They didn't really address their needs at cornerback, which will be a huge weakness going forward. And they added Terrence Ferguson, Josiah Stewart, David's boy, and linebacker Chris Paul in the draft. They also added Atlanta's first-round pick next year in the draft, which I absolutely loved. Go with you, Ryan, first. Win or loss?
This is an absolute W. The Rams, just like David said, there's nothing worse than a team that's going out chasing revenge. And I know everybody heard. I know everybody heard about what's the rookie from the Rams?
Verse.
Thank you. Verse that he thinks about this loss 2 to 3 times a day. Well, guess what, buddy? We're gonna give you another one to think about there, pal. And you're gonna be too excited. You're gonna be over pursuing. You're gonna be in the game, and you are gonna get trounced once again.
All right, David.
I thought heading into the playoffs, before it was even known that the Eagles would have to face the Rams, that would be their hardest competition in the playoffs. I kind of think it turned out to be that way. The 2 memorable times Stafford has come to Philadelphia, he's dealt with back-to-back snow games. He definitely will not be dealing with that in September. But I don't think it's going to matter because Jalen Carter is just too much for them to handle. He is going to crush their soul yet again. It's a 3 win in a row to start off the year.
Let's go.
Rob.
Ain't no snow to help you in this one, Rams, to keep you close. You still can't figure out how to stop Saquon Barkley. He'll do his thing. As Dibe said, your corners are kind of brutal. Who you stopping? And when it comes to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, I think the Eagles roll over the Rams in week 3.
I'm also adding a W to this. Saquon, as we all know, crushes the Rams. Keep an eye on Cameron Kinchens. Remember him, Ryan?
Oh, I remember him.
He had a really good year last year.
He did.
Needs to improve for sure, but he had 4 picks, 57 tackles, 6 pass deflections, a forced fumble. He had a touchdown. NFC Defensive Player of the Week, weeks 9 and 11 last year.
Yeah.
Played a lot of snaps, so that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Also, great comment by John. The Rams in the beginning always seem to struggle out of the gate and pick it up later. So you're going to get them early. I just think that's a problem.
All right, 3-0 for David, Ryan, and myself. 2-1 for Rob. Let's head to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Going into 95, 100.
Yeah, right.
For sure in this one. Tampa Bay, the Eagles beat them in week 4 of the 2024 season. The Eagles are heading back there again. I think they lost to them last year. That's
they did.
Smoked.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you were just saying right there. Did you have a stroke or something? Or
maybe. Yeah, redemption game, I guess, for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Bucks lost offensive coordinator Liam Cohen to the Jags. They brought back Levante David and Chris Godwin. They also signed one Hassan Reddick. Keep an eye out for that. Tampa Bay drafted Emeka Ibuka, Benjamin Morrison, Jacob Parrish, David Walker, Elijah Roberts. Not a bad draft.
That's pretty good haul.
Yep. They don't have a lot of depth on the offensive line, and they don't have a lot of experience in the secondary. Start us off, Rob. Eagles versus Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, look, I know that the Buccaneers have seemed to have had the Eagles number over the last couple of years, but it was after that Tampa Bay game where everything flipped last year for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think that, I think they're going to get this one. I don't think it's going to be a rout. It'll probably be a pretty good game. But I think at the end of the day, the talent on the Eagles roster from top to bottom is superior to the Bucks. Plus, the Buccaneers have 37 wide receivers now. So I don't know who the hell they're going to throw the ball
to. David.
This is always my favorite road game. I mean, it's late September, Clearwater Beach. It's freaking great. You can't ask for a better road game anytime, any year. Every time I've been there, Jalen Carter has 100 family members in the stands. He's always playing well. 2 years ago, they dominated Tampa down there, mainly by a running game with Devontae Swift. And they have the best running game in football again now. They just didn't play that way last year when they met them in week 4, but they will down there again on week 4 this year, and they're going to stomp them.
Wow, stomp for David. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I think the weather played a big factor last time. They were a little unprepared, and it was a wake-up call. It was exactly what they needed, honestly. But this is again not last year in week 4. This is this year in week 4. And I agree. I think they're going to go down there and handle business and snap that Tampa Bay Bucks streak.
All right. I'm going to go the L here. The Bulls factor is real. I don't know what it is. Jalen Hurts 1-4 against the Bucks, 7 touchdowns to 6 turnovers against Bulls. So I'm going to go to the L here. Maybe the Eagles a little riding too high. Can't win them all. Let's go to week 5. Wait, we have a comment. John says Todd Bowles is the bad man. We lose to the bad man. Let's roll on to week 5 for the Philadelphia Eagles, the Denver Broncos. A home game. You're talking about standout rookie Bo Nix getting his first taste of the link. Denver was the number 7 seed in the playoffs last year, falling to the Bills in the wild card. The last time these two met was the Devontae Smith catch. Oh, remember that one in the end zone over Patrick Surtain?
I was there. I remember.
One of the best Devontae Smith catches ever. The Broncos have a really good defense, top 10 in run defense, coverage, and pass rush last season. Now they've added Dre Greenlaw. I'm going to butcher this, Talanoa Hufanga. Did I get that right?
Sure.
All right. Yeah. And Jade Barron. Really good nickel corner. One of my favorites in the draft. They also added RJ Harvey, who could be a sleeper pick in fantasy this year. They have question marks about their O-line, especially when it comes to depth. They don't have a lot of great receivers. Marvin Mims could be a standout. Needs to be a breakout in 2025. Rob, win or loss?
Yeah, look, Denver's definitely improved, but they ain't that improved. They're not coming in here on a full, across the country trip and winning the game. The Eagles will put Bo Nix in his place for a week.
Love it. David.
Yeah, I agree with the Eagles have never beat Sean Payton. They're 0-1, but they'll tie that up this year. I agree with what Rob said. That's a hard trip for the Broncos. I think the Eagles keep that momentum going with the 5th win of the year.
Ryan.
Yeah, listen, I think had the schedule kind of been reversed and we were traveling back to Denver, I think this could have been one of those sneaky games where maybe, the distance and the altitude and, Denver kind of, sneaks one, but it's at the Link and there ain't no chance for them at the Link. It ain't happening.
Yeah. I feel like the Eagles are going to smoke Bo Nix. This defense, again, just like Patrick Mahomes, I think they're going to be hunting Bo Nix. Vic Fangio is not going to let Bo Nix beat him. Give me the W here. Eagles win by more than 2 scores. Let's head to week number 6, Thursday Night Football in New York.
Just put the 4 W's up.
Come on. Dub.
There's no one that is picking freaking Giants.
Yeah, skip to the second one, too. Dub.
All right, we're going to skip the Giants. Obviously, Saquon's return to MetLife Stadium. That's going to be a lot of fun. Cam Scatterbo for the Giants.
How awesome is it? The 2 Thursday night games for the Eagles. One's a home game, and one they just have to drive up by 95. There's no real travel for the short week games, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's head to week number 7 against the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, is that?
Yeah.
Reading that correct? Yeah. Minnesota Vikings here. A day before my birthday. The Eagles didn't play the Vikings last year. The last time they played them was on Thursday Night Football in 2023, where they won 34-28. Not a lot of changes for the Minnesota Vikings when it comes to coordinators, but they're changing from Sam Darnold to J.J. McCarthy. Everything begins and ends there. They added a lot to their offensive line. Donovan Jackson. They added a lot to their D-line and Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. I like the selection of Ty Felton in the late round this year. But yeah, everything starts with J.J. McCarthy. Ryan, win or loss?
It's an absolute murdering of J.J. McCarthy. I am not sure what, they ended up going, 14-3 with Sam Darnold. And they thought, you know what? Let's just start over with J.J. McCarthy. They improved in a lot of different ways, but McCarthy is gonna have a huge learning curve here, and it's not going to be pretty when you're going up against the likes of Jalen Carter. So, big dub in the dome.
This is an unbelievable stretch for Vic Fangio's defense, going up against Jackson Dart, going up against Bo Nix, going up now here against J.J. McCarthy. He could be feasting. This defense could be feasting heading into the bye. David, win or loss?
Yeah, I think what you just said was the point I was going to make. It's a very underrated part of the schedule is they're facing all of these quarterbacks like they did a couple years ago that are just not up to the standards of being able to compete with the way the defense has been assembled. So everybody talks about Justin Jefferson, but it comes down to J.J. McCarthy, and he doesn't have a chance against this defense. Fangio feasts again.
Fully agree. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, Vic Fangio's sitting in a room doing this with a big smile on his face, thinking about this game against J.J. McCarthy.
Was he Mr. Burns?
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, he is. He's very excited for that. it is a great point when you look at it and you go, Knicks, somebody that the Giants are starting, J.J. McCarthy, somebody that the Giants are starting, leading into your bye. I think that sets you up very nice for 4 wins. David and Ryan, the fact that you have them at 8-0.
I do have losses scheduled. I really do, but I just don't see them right yet.
Oh my gosh.
Same.
All right. David and Ryan have the Eagles 8-0 heading into the Week 9 bye. Rob and I are 7-1. 7-1. Ryan really is chasing that 17-0. This is going to happen. This is going to happen.
Ryan and David are 28-6 the last 2 seasons. Picking these
exactly.
games.
Exactly.
That is
What?
All right, let's head into Week 10 here against the Green Bay Packers. This is a away game. It's an away game, revenge game for the Green Bay Packers. They lost a lot and they didn't really add much, I thought. They added Nate Hobbs and Aaron Banks in free agency. They added Matthew Golden kind of to compete in that wide receiver room. Anthony Belton and Savion Williams are going to be expected to really make an impact in 2025, especially Savion Williams, 6'4", 222 pounds. That wide receiver room is interesting. I'll throw it to you, Rob. Win or loss against the Packers?
You're in Lambeau. It's November, so weather's getting a little chillier out there. You could pick up some cold weather. God, this is a tough one because Sirianni's kind of got that Andy Reid post bye week where they seem to come out and play well and win. But I think this is a tough spot. I do. I think this is a tough spot. I think Green Bay is a good team. I know the Eagles beat them twice last year. I think the Eagles maybe slip up a tad here and take an L in a close one on Monday Night Football.
This feels like Nick Sirianni destroying the Packers on Monday Night Football for all that tush-push nonsense. I'm going W. What about you, David?
That point, you know what? That's a great point you brought up. I'll stick with my L, but that's a great point.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is a game you have 2 weeks to prepare for. They're going to take out some frustrations on Green Bay.
Ryan.
Dub. Easy dub. There is a small chance that I may be at this game. Still trying to figure that out. I was really hoping for maybe week 7, so it wouldn't be so cold. But still, yeah.
I wanted to go to the Bills game. That is no longer happening.
Yeah, the 100% not happening. The Packers are maybe now, but yeah. Listen, yeah. You know what? The Green Bay are a bunch of bitches. Honestly, they really are. Crying about the tush push. Everybody trying to get an answer out of them. They won't even answer it. Come on,
That is a great point.
I don't have no respect for that whole team.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking. That's a great point, but I'll stick to the L there.
Yeah, I totally see Nick Sirianni sticking it to him because of that. Like, that's his personality. Let's go to the Lions.
That's where he brings in Ty Robinson and runs the ball to him for a touchdown at the goal line.
Yes, absolutely. We have Steven loving it. How is Shane not here? Shane, he's got T-ball, I believe, going on.
Yeah, not him personally.
Well,
because that would be weird.
Well. All right, let's go to Eagles versus Lions at the Link. A.J. Brown's first game for the Birds was against the Lions in 2022, where he had 10 catches for 155 yards in his Eagles debut. The Lions lost coordinators Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn to head coaching vacancies. They got Tate Ratledge. Really like that pick a lot. Aiden Hutchinson needs to become, defensive MVP. He's also returned. What?
He's healthy for the start of the season, by the way.
I don't know. I
think so.
I don't know what his status.
He'll be healthy regardless before this game, unless he gets hurt again.
And they, Jesus, they were talking about maybe letting him play if they made it to the Super Bowl. So I think he'll be okay.
The return of Eagles legend Avonte Maddox will also happen for the first time.
I hope
keep
you
an
don't
eye on
his toe.
keep an eye on Kirby Joseph, safety for the Lions was really good, and Jameson Williams, wide receiver. I'll throw it to you, Ryan. W or L against the Lions?
This is tough because, again, I know the Lions are a good team. And, listen, losing both coordinators is rough. Obviously, we should know. And I think if this game was in Detroit, I'm calling this a loss. I'm sorry. I'm really having a hard time seeing them losing home this year. I really am. And personally, I want to see it. And I will scream and yell and make sure it doesn't happen. So I'm calling it the dub.
All right, W for Ryan. What about you, David?
Yeah, losing both of your coordinators is a big problem. Jared Goff is 1-4 lifetime versus the Eagles. And I know the Lions wanted this game. They've been running their mouth about it for however long, that they should have been the number one team, blah, blah, blah. But I just don't see Goff turning it around. And the two new coordinators is a lot to overcome, as the Eagles saw in 2023.
Yep. That's where I'm at too, David. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think the coordinator piece is huge, and I'm just not sold on the Jared Goff train. Rob, where are you at?
Yeah, the coordinator piece is huge, and we talked about Green Bay, as Ryan put it so eloquently, were a bunch of bitches. I think the Lions are a bunch of bitches.
An whole division.
I think the way that they consistently, if they would have played us in the NFC, dude, you lost to the team we beat by 30 points, bro, at home. I don't want to hear your nonsense. I can't, the Saints did that the year in 2017, but the problem was when we had to play the Saints the next year, we had to go there. Okay. We ain't going there. They're coming here. It's Sunday Night Football, and they're going to get their asses walloped, because I think Detroit takes a big step back. This is a belt-to-ass game.
Wow. Wow. I love it. Love it. All right, let's roll on to Cowboys in Jerry World, Week 12. Trying to see. I'm not sure what. I think it's just a regular game. Is it a 1 o'clock game?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Cowboys, 1 o'clock. Love it. I'm going to go L here. I just have a feeling that this is going to be the Cowboys Super Bowl, and they're going to have a bad season, but they're going to say we beat the Eagles in Week 12. Whereas the Eagles kind of put their foot off the pedal just a little bit, and the Cowboys squeak out a victory, and they celebrate a meaningless regular season game. Ryan, win or loss?
We ain't losing. We ain't losing to no Cowboys, especially if we are 10-0 at this point heading into this game. There is no way in hell we are losing to Jerry. Believe me, I'm sure they'll be blind. Dak will be blinded, throw a pick, and we'll win the game. I ain't worried about it.
David.
I'm going to go with my first L here for basically everything you said. I hate to do it, but winning 11, 12 games in a row, you start doing that, it's very difficult.
This is a 425 game, by the way. This is not
425.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I'd just like to state that the Philadelphia Eagles are the only Super Bowl champion to not have back-to-back home games after they've won a Super Bowl.
It is strange scheduling. There's no doubt.
Very strange.
Yep. Rob.
Yeah, look, I think you get a little bit of a letdown here. After the belt-to-ass game of the Lions, I think you come into this one. It's very rare. I know what happened last year, but it's extremely rare that the Eagles or Cowboys sweep the other one. They tend to split. As much as we hate Dak Prescott, and I don't think he's very good, for some reason he does play well against the Eagles. So I do, I think you get a little letdown. I'm a huge believer in the NFL and ebbs and flows. And I think if you win a big game on Sunday Night Football against the Detroit Lions, then you travel down to Dallas, I think it's a tough spot. I think they take an L there.
All right. Let's head to Week 13 against the Chicago Bears, a Friday night.
Black Friday, baby.
Black Friday. That's going to be actually kind of fun.
3 o'clock.
That's fantastic.
I'm so excited because one, it's a Friday, so all I got to do is take off Friday, and then the next day, I don't give a crap.
You work on Black Friday, bro?
Oh, I don't actually. Now, yeah, you're right. I don't. Never mind. I don't have to take off. I forgot. This is great.
To me is I golf on Black Friday every year, so I get a morning golf tournament. It ends about 2:00.
Perfect.
Come home, I sit in front of the TV, and it's Eagles Birds, baby. I'm all in.
That is perfect. Christina says the league is taking advantage of the Eagles fans' reputation for being stellar travelers. They're using us to lift the loser team's gate numbers. You're not wrong.
Not wrong.
No, that's fair.
We're great travelers.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's head to Chicago. Obviously, it starts with head coach Ben Johnson coaching up Caleb Williams. The Bears went 5-12 in 2024. This is the Eagles and Bears' first matchup since 2022. They added Luther Burden. They added, who am I missing? Colston Loveland. So they got some new weapons there on offense. Running back is still a question mark. I would have loved to see them get Ashton Genty, but that wasn't in the cards. They still have some question marks about their pass rush. Chicago at the link. David, lead us off.
I like the direction they're going. I really do like Ben Johnson as a hire. Their lack of a running back is a really bad formula to try to win against the Philadelphia Eagles when they know that your running game is non-existent. You're in a lot of trouble. 2025 version of Caleb Williams is not beating the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a W.
W for David. Ryan.
Yeah, it's a win. I completely agree. Completely agree with David. I love the direction they're heading, and I think maybe in a couple of years the Bears might be players in the NFC, but not quite yet.
All right, Rob.
Yeah, listen. Once again, Vic Fangio is doing his best Mr. Burns impression, thinking about Caleb Williams. Maybe this team's headed in the right direction. Time will tell with Ben Johnson. I'm not always a huge believer in the guy that was a great coordinator becomes a great head coach. It could happen, but this one's a nice Eagles win on Black Friday.
I think this game. Oh, God.
I was just going to say, and if they don't wear their full black uniform,
right,
I'm losing my mind.
I know they have to.
I'm going to go with a W, but it's going to be really close. This is going to be a close game. And I think I'll have a better read on this game like 5-6 weeks in.
You mean closer to November when it's not May?
Yeah, I think I might be better at this than you.
No, because I do like Ben Johnson, and I am a Caleb Williams guy, and I feel like maybe it leans towards the Bears getting a huge win. Not saying they're going to have a successful season, but that could be a big win for them this season. So let's head to.
People are going to be hammered in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah. Let's go to the Chargers Monday Night Football. The Chargers were 11-6 under Jim Harbaugh last year. Lost in the wild card. Last time the Eagles played the Chargers was in 2017, winning 26-24 with 136 yards on the ground from LeGarrette Blount. This is their first meeting in SoFi Stadium. They added Omarion Hampton to pair with Najee Harris. They also added your boy Ryan Trey Harris to pair with Vlad McConkey. They also lost a lot on defense. They lost Joey Bosa and Christian Fulton. Good football team. Didn't really make that many improvements. Look out for breakout player Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, who didn't really do a lot his rookie year. He needs to really step up. Throw it to you, Ryan. Win or loss, Chargers.
So I'm actually going to say this is the first loss.
Wow.
Yeah, listen, I like Herbert as a regular season quarterback. I think he excels. I think Harbaugh is a very smart coach. I love what they did, what they added on offense. Yeah, their defense has certainly got a little worse, but Yeah, listen, always having to. It's a short, or not a short week, but it's a long week. But it's traveling all the way to LA. Not that they have any fans, but still, the travel it's going to be rough, and again the pressure. So I figured it's going to be a loss.
David.
I like the fact that they get 10 days in between that Black Friday game and this Monday night game. I do agree with most everything Ryan said. I like Herbert as a regular season quarterback. I do think they have a lot of weapons. Lad McConkey is one of my favorite receivers in the past couple of years that's come out. But I think it'll be a high scoring game, but the Eagles will be able to pull this one out. I'm still going W here in the LA, whatever that's SoFi. Is that what they call that thing?
Yeah. Monster Saquon Barkley game. Lock it in. Rob, W for me.
God, I've been so back and forth on this game because I think the Chargers are a decent enough team. The problem is they play in a stadium that's going to be Philadelphia West that day. That's going to be a thing. God, who the Eagles beat the week? Yeah, with 10 days off, I think the Eagles win the game. It's hard. I want to say an L here but I think deep down the Eagles are going to win that game.
All right, let's roll on to the Raiders. Week 15 at the Link. The Eagles haven't played the Raiders since 2021. That was back during Christmas. Or no, before that, that was Christmas in 2017.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
That game was horrible.
It was a terrible game. And
it was a 7-7 tie.
Cold.
Yeah. The Raiders finished 4-13 last year. They added Ashton Genty. They completely reshaped their front office. Pete Carroll's now their head coach. They have a new GM. Chip Kelly's their offensive coordinator. Brock Bowers is the face of the franchise with Ashton Genty. I like the addition of Dante Thornton, developmental wide receiver down the road. Look out for breakout player Tyree Wilson, an edge rusher in the first round 2 years ago. Needs to step up big time for the Raiders. Rob, win or loss against the LV Raiders?
Once again, this is a team I think that is maybe headed in the right direction, but I don't know if they're quite there yet. I'm not sold. What's their quarterback situation again? Who do they got there now?
Geno Smith.
Yeah, he's not a bad player. This is a trap game. I do think that this could be a trap game when you talk about after this game, it's Commanders, Bills, Commanders, depending on where you are in seating and all that kind of stuff. It's a definite trap game, but I'll give them the W.
W for Rob. What about you, David?
I like Geno. I like Bowers. I love the addition of Genty. I think Chip Kelly is going to be a problem. Coming back from the West Coast, they only have 6 days to prepare for this. This is kind of like what Rob said, a trap game to me. This just feels like a loss to me, this one. So I would go with the first home loss of the season.
Ryan.
We ain't losing at home. Give me that dub. I can't wait to boo the crap out of Chip Kelly. It's going to be great.
You're not going to see him. He's going to be on the.
I'm seeing him.
He's going to be in the booth.
All right, I'm going L. I'm going to piggyback off of David and Rob about the trap game. Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers. Maybe they squeak out a victory here and kind of shock some Eagles fans for sure. So give me the L. Let's roll on to the Commanders Saturday, week 16. The Commanders, they have obviously, been touted this offseason with a great offseason. I disagree. I think they got older. I'm not a Debo guy. They added Laramie Tunsil. I'm not a Tunsil guy. They finished 12-5 during the regular season last year. They've got our president of the Sixers really hyper focused on them, while the Sixers need a lot of love. They also added or returned Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner.
Old.
Look for Mike Samerstill and Johnny Newton to really take another step in their development. I'll throw it to you, Ryan. Eagles at Washington, Week 16.
Yeah, this sounds like a game I would love to go to. Take a quick bus trip with Philly Sports Trips down there to that crap hole of a stadium. But yeah, listen, this is a win. We're going into their stadium, and we're gonna again remind them who the Super Bowl champs are. Absolute dub.
Dub for Ryan. David.
Yeah, I think this will be the week that Saquon Barkley goes over 2,000 yards. He looks at the schedule, sees a bunch of snow in Buffalo, probably won't even be playing Week 18. So we'll have a similar situation we did last year. Will he go for the record? Who knows? But he will get 2,000 yards in this one. It's an easy W. I agree with everything you said too, Dibes. I think they've kind of take a step back. They're too reliant on Jaden Daniels, in my opinion. I just don't see the improvement overall on the whole team.
I think they got too hot too quick. You know what I mean? Like now they're going to come back to what they actually are, and then they're an ascending team still for sure. But again, I just think they got a little too hot last year. They're going to come back down to earth, and then the following year, take a step up.
Yeah, I don't buy the hype. Rob.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think they take a step back this year. If by some chance they're in contention, this game gets a little bit dicier. But I don't think they necessarily will be, at least for the division at this point. So I'm going to say that this is a win the division game for the Eagles. Years ago, back in the early 2000s, it seemed like every year they played in Washington, it was for the division, and they would win the division down there. I think the same thing happens here in Week 16.
Yeah, this is another Saquon game. This is one of those oh shit moments for the Washington Commanders. Maybe we need to kind of reevaluate this, our path going forward. I think the Eagles just wiped the table with the Commanders in this game. All right, let's go to Eagles at Bills, Week 17. The Bills. The Eagles will travel to Buffalo for the first time since 2019. That was a 31-13 victory. The last meeting came in 2023 when Hurts had that game-winning touchdown at the Link, 37-34 in overtime. The Bills were 13-4 last year. Josh Allen versus Jalen Hurts, must-watch TV. They added a lot and really retained their core, especially Josh Allen, Gregory Rousseau. They loaded up on defense in the draft. Their first 5 picks were defensive players led by Maxwell Hairston and TJ Sanders. Negative-wise, they have a lot of vets. No clear wide receiver 1. Keep an eye on Khalil Shakir for the Bills. I'll throw it to you, Ryan. Win or loss?
This is tough. I mean, the Bills, regardless, I think are always a tough game. And it's in Buffalo. I have a lot of respect for Buffalo and their fans. I think we're kindred spirits in a lot of ways. Again, I just think at this point, according to my win-loss record, I don't think they give a crap about this game. I think they locked the division up in Week 12. They've already locked up the conference. So I'm going to go with a loss here.
Yeah, I'm going to just piggyback off it. I think this is an L. This is going to be a bigger game for Josh Allen than it is for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
David.
I hate this so much. I was so looking forward to this game because I'm meeting like 4 people. And God, I hate that I have to go in December 28th. I think I read this week that the only team Josh Allen hasn't beat is the Philadelphia Eagles. So, but I think that changes. I agree with Ryan. The division is likely locked up at this point. This is going to be a miserable cold game. Nobody's going to want to even participate in. So just go ahead and give the Bills their victory.
Yeah, those fans are wild, man. Last time I went to a Eagles-Bills game in Buffalo, and they were in our face.
I've never been there. I was so looking forward to this. Now it's on drain.
You have a blast. Like they get in your face.
The Packers and the Bills were the 2 games that I really wanted early because I wanted to go to either or both.
Anthony chimes in and says Hurts is better than Allen. Rob, where you at?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is where Allen finally beats the Eagles. I think it's a tough spot. Even if the Eagles are playing for seeding, I think Buffalo is going to be playing for a lot as well. When you got to go to Buffalo this late in the year, you kind of just give them the edge. So I think this is a loss.
All right, let's head to the last game of the regular season against the Commanders at home, which is nice, especially if you have a playoff game, at home going forward. Rob, win or loss, Week 18 against the Commanders?
I don't think the game's going to matter. I think they're going to be locked into a seed by this point. I don't know what that seed will be. I think the Commanders are going to try and use this game as a platform, for next season, because I do not believe the Commanders are going to be a playoff team this year. I just do not.
Wow. Okay.
I believe they're going to be one of those teams that fall out. So I think the Commanders are going to play everybody. The Eagles are not. And I think the Commanders will win the game because it just, it's going to be their swan song on the season.
All right. L for Rob. What about you, David?
I think this will be Tanner McKee's second start and second win. And the Eagles finished 14-3.
All right. Can you say that again? Sorry.
Tanner McKee W. 2-0, and then they can trade him this offseason and keep that quarterback factory going.
That's basically what I was going to say. That's all I had. Was
14-3.
14-3, not 13-4. You did your math wrong.
Thank you, sir.
Eagles roll against the Commanders. I'll do my math when Ryan's talking. Ryan, win or loss?
So like I said, they're not losing at home, but I think I should have said they're not losing at home as long as I'm there. And I'm pretty sure I'm selling this ticket because it means absolutely nothing to me. And I'm selling it to some, lucky Eagles fan who just wants to go to a game. And I don't mind selling it to any Eagle fan. I'll never sell to a Commander fan, those bums, those freaking bums. But I'll still go with a loss, even though your savior and grace, Tanner McKee, will be out there. I still think they lose it.
14-3, Ryan. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow. 14-3 for David, 13-4 for me, and then 12-5 for Ryan. We're all over the over right now. I think the over under is 11.5. Yep.
Oh wow. I might have to place that bet.
That's why I think this team will win 11 or 12 games this year. I really do. It's not because I think they're bad. I just think this is, it's going to be a tougher schedule. But I look at the NFC as a whole, and I don't see anybody winning 13 or 14 games in the NFC this year. I just don't think it's that type of year. Now, I guess there's always a team that comes out of nowhere. But I think Detroit takes a step back. I think Washington takes a step back. I think San Francisco is probably a little bit better from last year, but they're not 13 or 14 wins. So, at 12 wins, the Eagles still could be the number one seed. We'll have to see.
All right. That does it for tonight. Rob, final thoughts, plugs. Let's get out of here.
Final thoughts. I'm beginning to get on the Ace Bailey train.
Yeah.
Aaron Nola might be cooked. And God bless America. I don't know. I kind of lost myself. I'm done.
David, final thoughts, plugs.
I don't think last year has any bearing on this year. If anybody's paid attention to what Jalen Hurts has been doing this offseason, he went straight to work. He's been working out nonstop with his trainer. So I do expect him to win 13 or 14 games again. I think they're that good. I agree with what Rob just said. There's not another team out there that really has the ability to do the same thing. So I do think the Eagles are probably going to be the number one seed and have a legit shot to go back to back here. So I haven't really thought that in many years. I didn't think it in 17 because it was just such a flukish kind of Super Bowl win in Super Bowl 52. But this team is just built differently. They hate losing more than they enjoy winning. And that is a good recipe to keep people motivated. So I'm really excited about this season.
Ryan.
Yeah. Listen, I also agree with Rob. God bless America. And Listen, David said it perfectly. That 2017 team came out of nowhere, and I don't think anybody thought, hey, we were going to repeat the next year. I thought we would compete. This year was different. Ever since the bye week of last year, this team has been on an absolute tear, and it's not normal winning. Like they have been destroying teams, and they were getting angry about it. I mean, again, their playoff run was absolutely insanity. So I fully agree that they could win 13 or 14 games. I know that when it comes time to picking games during the season, I know me and David are going to have an amazing record like we normally do. In fact, I'm really thinking we got to start the Reese and Niche show one of these days. Listen, this is going to be a fun ride. Honestly, it is going to be such a fun ride. And I got to tell you, this is definitely a year that we all got to get together at a game, at a tailgate. We always talk about it. David goes to all these games. He never stops by. He always says he's going to stop by, but he never stops by. So we got to figure it out. Rob, hey, Rob, focus.
Oh, you want me to look at you? You going to invite me this year, dude?
Yeah, you're invited to every tailgate.
No, I mean to the game. I want to go to the game. Me and you, dude, think about it. Ready? Brainstorm here. Me and you sitting together in the link, filming on our phones an episode of D2A live together. Same place.
Well, listen, if you're going to be in Pittman on Saturday, we can do one live there as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Mainland.
What is that?
Exactly. You don't want to know. Going to be in Audubon and then Mainland, which is nowhere near Pittman, by the way.
Okay.
All right. I'm excited. I'm excited for this Eagles defense. My final thoughts is you look at the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, the Rams offense, the Buccaneers offense, which put up a ton of yards in 2024. I'm excited to see how this Eagles defense, this young Eagles defense, responds to that, especially early on. That was my first thought process when I saw this schedule. So, guys, thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you give Rob a follow at Philly_Madness. He is David at PHL Eagle News. My man Ryan at Philly Sports PSA. I'm Dives. Thank you everyone for watching. See you next time. Stay awesome.